Alright guys, welcome to the first GosuCup here on GosuGamers. We're going to be doing EU today, which is on Friday, and then we've got Southeast Asia on Sunday morning as well. So this is the first cup for us. It's been streamed by me. I'm going to be a caster for today. And I've been looking over the player list for today, and we've got some real killers in this tournament. Some great names have signed up so far. So I've just been going through the player list, and I'm just going to pick out... I've picked up a couple of names that might ring a few bells. So we have Silvername, Game King, Millennium's Alex, RDU, Ecop, Gara, Nixley, Martin Creek, Hoy, TwoBiers, and Senex. And that's just a couple of the players that are entering today. We have a full 128-man bracket, single elimination, best of 5 conquest. So yeah, we've got a great tournament coming to you this evening, and I will be there to guide you guys through the whole thing. Aren't you lucky? So first match we have coming up is TwoBiers versus Ramekiano. I think that's how you pronounce it. TwoBiers being a German player from Flow Esports, who was recently at Insomnia. His teammate Camlin hit fourth place at Insomnia, and TwoBiers is also recently known for the 110 Arena Challenge. He's the first player to ever complete it. So yeah, TwoBiers is definitely on the radar. German player. Ramekiano, I'm not too sure. I haven't found much on him. All I know is he is a Spanish player. So if anyone in chat's from the Spanish scene, please let me know. So these players are actually ready to get into the first game. Not going to waste any time. Just setting these guys up. So this is best of 5 conquest, popular format that has been used by tournament organizations for some time now. And I've told these players to get going, get in this game, let's get this cup started. So there are 7 points altogether on the line for this cup. First place gets 3 HCT points, second place gets 2, and third and fourth place get 1 each. And I have been disconnected from the battle. One sec, guys. I have to restart the BattleNet. Just get that spectator client going.
What treasures are you seeking today?
What treasures am I seeking today? Spectator treasures, I am hoping. Yep, these guys are ready to get me back into the match. Alright then, first game of the day, guys. TwoBiers is going to be going up against Ramekiano. Going to be starting off with the Hunter and the Warrior. And it's looking like a Control Warrior with those Death Lords in hand. And we're looking like a mid-range Hunter, which is interesting. Not a deck that's been very popular recently, but we'll have to see how these guys do. And as you can see on the side there, next to TwoBiers' name, we have a number, and that is his rank on the Gosu rankings in Europe. So any players who bear any ranks, we're going to be showing those ranks to you in the stream. So looking at these hands here, Ramekiano, well, I'll call him Rame to make things easier. Rame is a very nice hand. He's got the Death Spite to clear up any enemy minions that are going to come down from TwoBiers. But the 2 Death Lords and the Sludge Belcher are going to make things very tough for TwoBiers unless he finds more ways to deal with them. Hunter's Mark is definitely a tool, but he's going to need either some raw damage, or he's going to need some silence effects. Hero power come from TwoBiers at the start, a very slow start for a mid-range hunter. No web spinners, no knife jugglers or scientists. So now Rame has the choice of, does he coin out his first Death Lord and see what happens, Or does he play patiently and just armor up? I don't mind armoring up here. The hunter has already had a really slow start. So maybe that coin will find some better use later. Really like the animal companion here. No point. I don't know. He's going for the bow. Very interesting. I like the animal companion just getting a body on board. It seems like TwoBiers just wants to have that weapon ready for the Acolyte of Pain. That could be what he's setting up here for, and then getting the Shredder down next turn. So Deathlord does come down. Not much of a problem for TwoBiers at the moment. Hunter's Mark will deal with it. Let's see if he can get a high main from this Deathlord. Oh, Mad Scientist, that's not bad at all. Going to be able to recharge that bow. Deathspite is a pretty obvious pick here for Rame. Gonna be able to take out the first part of that Shredder, but already a lot of momentum on TwoBiers' board. He had a slow start, but that Deathlord definitely helped him. Let's see what this has done. 3 damage, steady shot. Oh man. It's not very often you get to see a fallen hero on a hunter's side, and it does actually power up the hero power, but Loatheb being the obvious choice here. Lock out that spells, make sure a brawl doesn't come down, and now TwoBiers is in control. Deathspite does clear up the Loatheb, but the damage has been done. 16 health for Rame here, but that Deathlord is going to slow things down. He's going to need something to help him punch through, or he's going to have to just throw his board. Dreadscale included. Now this card is here for all you Zulok and Paladin players. Want to deal with those musters and those cheeky implosions. But Kodo, oh, I love Kodo. Kodo's one of my favourite cards from the core set. And this hunter is doing work. Those Deathlords are putting this warrior behind. No brawl in hand. Does have some removal options, but not quite enough. Without that extra piece of armor, Shield Slam just can't deal with anything on the board. So Sludge Belcher is going to come down here. Maybe a coin Fiery War Axe to set that up for next turn. I don't know where this coin is going to get any use. Maybe just coin armor up and set up the Shield Slam for next turn. I quite like that. So if the silence comes from TwoBiers off the top here, Rame's going to be in a world of hurt. Second high main, and he just slams it down. No mercy here. Freezing Trap is protecting this board as well, but these beasts are just going to clear up this token, and it's going to be no problem. Brawl finds its way to his hand. Brawl, usually a great option in this situation, but if you brawl this board, you're gonna pop up in 2 high mains. And surprised to see the Fiery War Axe go into this high main. I might have considered a Shield Slam. There's a lot of damage, but Shield Slam might find a bit more value later, and a bit more patience from Rame might pay off here. What is going to survive? And it is a Web Spinner, the worst one from that brawl, but still 5 power on board. Animal Companion finds Misha. That was Huffer or Leok. Would have been ideal there. Although the Misha does protect against the Fiery War Axe, so it does have some benefits as well. And now things are starting to look pretty tough for Rame. Shield Maiden's going to help him sustain. He'll be able to throw a Shield Slam at that Misha, deal with one of those hyenas. But beasts are on the board, and Kill Command can definitely ruin your day at this point. No Kill Command. So now what can TwoBiers do? Does he need... I don't think he needs to start training. He could throw the Web Spinner in just to see if he gets something like a King Crush. Be able to finish the game off. Finds himself a Camel. That's pretty good. You'll get another Web Spinner from that. So that's going to be 2 juggles. There's not going to be any 1-drops from the Warrior. Oh, wait. No more Web Spinners. Might just be 1 Web Spinner then. Interesting. 4 health, lots of traps. Snake Trap can entrap that Juggler very nicely. second shield slam will be able to deal with that knife juggler. But the issue here is, how do you survive? No heals left, only his hero power. This might be lights out. And he goes to test the trap. Freezing trap's going to bounce back. And there's some heals, so he did find some in the end. It's only 5 health though, but 3 damage from these snakes. We're going to close things out for TwoBiers here. I don't think Rame can survive this. One health by the skin of his teeth. And I don't know what you can do here. And he chooses death, and the first game goes to TwoBiers. So game number 1 over to TwoBiers. Not a bad start with that mid-range hunter. Not a deck that's popular at the moment, but he made it work. He hit the control warrior, which is traditionally one of the decks that hunter has always been good at. Well, the mid-range hunter at least. And with the popularity of Elise Warrior coming out of the APAC Winter Championships, and generally Amnesiac winning a Winter Championship with that deck as well, mid-range hunter might just find a place in the metagame at the moment. Well, especially the competitive metagame to deal... Oh, got this wrong way around there, guys. Apologise. So TwoBiers goes up 1-0. Oh, bear with me. I've mixed these up on the overlay, but fear not, it will be resolved. All right, so Tempo Mage coming from TwoBiers, and we have that warrior once again. Sorcerer's Apprentice is very vulnerable to Fiery War Axe. Flame Cannon does clear up Armor Smiths pretty nicely. War Elemental is just an absolute pain for these warriors. Locking at that weapon, that's really important. Maybe just see a Dr. Boom go here. Wouldn't mind too much keeping hold of the Flame Cannon, but Mana Worms are definitely what you want, and there we go. Perfect start, but that Fiery War Axe and the Brawling Execute, all those reactive options ready for Rame. Mana Worm coming down. Fiery Wax gonna deal with that pretty easily. Do have the Sorcerer's Apprentice to follow up, but that just dies to War Axe as well. Might just be a lamb to the slaughter here. Throw her out and just let that War Axe charges disappear. And Silver Portal finds a Silver Moon Guardian, sorry. And that is definitely a minion that will tank a War Axe here. But didn't have the mana. Well, he did have the coin available to play it. But didn't go for it there. TwoBiers does find... Rame does find the Death Lord. So he does have a way to slow down this Tempo Mage at the moment.
Silver Moon shall not fall. I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Do you have the artifact?
The thing is, the Death Lord here is going to deal with the Divine Shield if he wants to. Just clears the Scientist. Getting that secret down. So let's have a look. Effigy. Wow, okay. So TwoBiers spicing things up here. So what are his options? Could go for just the Water Elemental, get that bulky minion down. Of course, that's a big problem for warriors, looking at those weapons. Flame Waker, can you do anything with the coin? Flame Waker, just the coin available to him. Can't really get any Sorcerer's Apprentice stuff going on, not really any cheap spells. But that Death Lord is being chipped away. But Rame has a lot of options in his hands. Execute Sprawls. belchers. So he does have ways to keep in the game.
What now?
What's his best line here? So you can clear at the water elemental with the weapon and the Elise. I don't mind that too much because you haven't got a weapon at the moment, so it's not like you're gonna... Well, being frozen's not gonna be an issue at this point. Effigy comes down, getting a Wailing Soul. Not bad. 3-5 stats. More bodies on board here for TwoBiers to be able to tackle. This board being built up by Rame. So now you can Flame Waker get any nonsense going. We have Sorcerer's Apprentice.
You want it?
Sorcerer's Apprentice would reduce the cost of Arcane Intellect. Pyroblast! Oh, missiles. Goes for the Pyroblast. I like it. The missiles is super tempting with that Flame Waker, but the Pyroblast just represents a threat that Rame has no ideas there. Just 10 damage from hand. So I really like that choice from TwoBiers. Well played from him. Justicar is a clean play here. Just get that armor going. Is there anything you can do with the Revenge? Could Revenge as well. I like Revenge. You can clear up the water elemental. Can clear up pretty much everything. With that Revenge. Ragnaros coming down from the... Wow. So the Ragnaros comes down from the Death Lord, but the Execute is sitting in the hand ready. I do like seeing this token go into something and the Elise drop the Revenge down, use that Execute up. This is a nice clean up from Rame. Oh, the Big Game Hunter's even better, actually. Not going to be many other targets other than Dr. Boom. I could have used the Execute there, but getting that body on board is a lot better. Tough choice for TwoBiers now. Mana Worm down, Flame Waker. Flame Waker gets a lot of value here. He has a much larger chance of taking stuff out, but those pings do have to go well. Let's see where they go. Right, one taken care of. One more ping left for that Big Game Hunter. Oh, both to face. TwoBiers felt that. Ouch. So now a clean trade into that Flame Waker. Gore Howl is going to get tremendous value going forward. And now the Temple Mage is in a bit of a tight spot. Because that Gore Howl represents just so much removal. And without having those Water Elementals or those Frost Bolts ready, things are going to be pretty tough. It's got a lot of charges to go and clear up most of TwoBiers' minions going forward. So what I think the best line here is potentially just dropping some guys, just dropping multiple threats so he uses the higher charges of the Gore Howl first, and then try and drop low feb when this drops down to 4. Once the Gore Howl gets down to 4 attack, you can drop that low feb. Might have to throw in some more removal to take care of him, and then that protects your Azure Drakes that will be coming up. But things are looking pretty good for Rame here. He had a bumpy first game, but he definitely has an opportunity to sustain in the future. I think I just like Justica hero power. I think that's just fine. Get the 6-3 down, clear the 3-2. So you're demanding an extra resource from TwoBiers here, maybe a ping, maybe a Frostbolt, and she's done her job there, getting that extra 4 health. Fireball off the top. So this Gore Howl still in the low feb slaying range, which you don't want to be. Flame Cannon will clear up this Justicar very easily. And Lofeb's just going to come down for some pressure. Get some tempo going. A lot of spells in TwoBiers' hand. He's going to be starved for minions soon, so you need to draw some extra stuff. I like the Doomsayer pickup. If there was only a way to pop this mad scientist, get the mirror entity down. So what's the best way you can handle this? You could just clear up the Lofeb, armor up, and drop the Acolyte Ping. I don't mind that. There is maybe an opportunity to play the Doomsayer now. But he decides to go for the Acolyte. Again, an awkward clear up here. Gonna need a Frostbolt or something to stop the maximum card draw if it's not dealt with. Accordingly, it's going to get at least 2 cards. But TwoBiers doesn't have time to start worrying about Acolytes. He needs to start pushing damage. He does represent 16 damage over 2 turns. That is 2 armor ups for the Warriors. That is 8 health. So that could be a problem. We'll have to see how things go. Another Acolyte picked up for Rame here. Might decide to go for the Execute on the Water Elemental. Could run the Acolyte in, hit the Execute. I think that's what TwoBiers is trying to bait him into doing. Clear that Water Elemental first, get the Effigy off, and then he's got all sorts of problems depending on what spawns. Especially if something like a Hungry Dragon spawns.
I wonder.
Is there anything else that could happen? I think Ray needs to consider what he wants to clear, and then potentially dropping the Doomsayer just to stop any players going next turn, or maybe pushing TwoBiers to want to destroy the Doomsayer. He actually goes for the Mad Scientist first, and seeing the first effigy. Second effigy is going to pop now, and then it's going to be a mirror entity, and the Doomsayer is going to play right into that. Very nice play from Rain there. And the Might Banks comes down. Cheeky. Bad top deck for TwoBiers there. Might be worth throwing that Pyroblast out now. You've got 10 mana to use. You may as well. Drops Rain down to 8. He's going to be able to armor up, but finds a shield block off the top as well. So, tremendous amount of armor coming for Rain here. And this might just put TwoBiers out of the game. Oh, well, that if you're going to get back into a game, that is definitely the card you want to draw off the top. But Rame has everything he needs. How do you want to deal with this Dr. Boom? You have many ways you can deal with him. Execute. It's going to be a very simple way to clear that up. Can drop the Execute. I want to see an armor up just for safety. Does snipe the entire Acolyte, but it's kind of done his job there. Can use the last... Well, yeah, I like this. Using the charge of the Gore Howl. It's not going to find much use anymore. Doesn't clear the Belcher. And the armor up. So yeah, I was afraid he might play the Death Spite there, but I do like the armor up. Another spell off the top for TwoBiers. Not fantastic. And that is going to be it. So TwoBiers does concede. And that game is going to go over to Rain. So Rain brings one back with that Control Warrior. Well played from there. Used his removal very wisely. But any kind of momentum that TwoBiers had, he couldn't really keep. It was unfortunate for him. There was just a lot of, like I said, a lot of options. That Gore Howl was a huge pickup for Rain there. Being able to clear so many minions from TwoBiers. But it's tied up 1 apiece here. This is single elimination, so if you do lose, you are out. So this is now game number 3. 1-1, and that's this Tempo Mage is coming back. And it looks like he's going to be going up against a Paladin, and it's going to be the Murloc Paladin. Now, Murloc Paladin had a massive representation at the APAC tournament for the Wounded Championship. If I remember correctly, there was four of them. I'll have a quick look now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So there were 3 anything can happen paladins with no secret paladins in the Asian Winter's Championship recently. So it just goes to show kind of like the shift. Everyone kind of expects secret paladin these days, and people are making answers to it, making adjustments. Nice cleanup there by the Murloc, nice and clean. Kez and Mystic, very interesting. Maybe to stop those secret, freeze mages. But Kez and Mystic's going to find a lot of value now. Going to the next turn if he decides to use his coin, and it seems like a perfect opportunity to do it.
The light does not discriminate.
Thanks for the mirror entity, mate.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Sorcerer's Apprentice, double. Are we going to see double Frostbolt? That's a lot of damage being thrown around.
Job's done.
And once again, TwoBiers' resources are being cut short by some good plays from Rame. True Silver Champion can be able to clear this up very easily. Without much problem at all. And can be able to find another target much later. That Water Elemental may stop it in its tracks. But so far, Rame is in so much control. Another secret off the top for TwoBiers. Very unfortunate draws so far. Humility off the top there, a card that's kind of picking up in a bit of popularity. I've seen Kalento use it in the past in this build. But, you know, it's not bad. You know, 1 mana, change a minion's attack to 1. Can't really fault that. I remember the old Humility Kodo combos from the very first mid-range Paladin list made by Kalento. Always good fun. So now Rame's probably considering, what secret is this? Old Murkai will be able to stop a mirror entity because the True Silver can just deal with it. But because we've already seen 1 mirror entity, I'm pretty sure TwoBiers is running 2 effigy, 1 mirror entity. And he now knows it's probably an effigy. He's seen it from the previous game. Not a great pickup again for TwoBiers. Gets the Arcane Missiles off the top. And this Murloc combined with a True Silver Champion is going to be able to deal this Water Elemental without too much problem. If he really wants to be conservative, we could see Humility come down and keep that Murloc on board, but this just fuels the good old in my way there, Solemn's Vigil. That's going to be reduced to 4. Effigy is going to come down, gets a 4-1. the old mini mage. Well, that's going to be safe for now, unless the Pyro Humility comes down. Oh, Pyro Solemn's Vigil, of course. Going to be able to clear that up. Very nice from Rame there. Excellent response. So things are looking pretty good for him right now. Once again, TwoBiers looking like he's being locked out of this game.
I'll show them all.
Scientist, not a great pickup off the top. Gets to ping away the Wild Pyro. But the Mad Scientist isn't enough of a threat. And if you look at Rame's hand, he has 2 Leon hands. Aldo Peacekeeper, Humility, Doomsayer. He has pretty much everything he needs to stop this mage in his tracks. I quite like the Doomsayer. I don't mind just Doomsayer hero power at this point. How much threat does this scientist really represent? Not a lot in my opinion. You're on 25 health as a control paladin with an excess of healing. If you were to take 8 damage next turn, you're just going to heal it up anyway. And this Doomsayer resets the board for next turn, so you can play a lay on hand safely. And there we go. So TwoBiers doesn't want to commit any resources into dealing with this Doomsayer. Will get his last effigy. But now this sets up lay on hands. More card draw, heal to full. Things are not looking good for TwoBiers right now. Look at the cards. 13 cards into his deck. 18 cards. Maybe the unstable portal will bring him back. That's not really gonna do it. Something a bit more impacting. We'll get a 4-drop off the effigy, but yeah, it's not looking great at the moment. So now Rame can do pretty much whatever he wants. So he's got the anything ready. I wouldn't mind seeing a war leader come down this turn, just to get it into the graveyard ready. I'm going to see a true silver champion come down as well. Set that up for the following turn. And just make a guy. Like, I don't honestly believe there's a lot of threat coming in from TwoBiers' board at this moment. But these cards like Unstable Portal and Ethereal Conjurer may be the cards he needs to get back in the game, get some more options going. Extra Fireball if he wants it. Flame Lance doesn't seem that great. I wouldn't want Effigy. Second Fireball is definitely going to be the best option there. Flame Cannon going to be able to deal with this Murloc War Leader. And now the Spell Stopper is protecting the Ethereal Conjurer from any target spells, but the one issue he's going to have is that Consecrate with Equality or Equality Pyro can be able to deal with this board quite efficiently if he chooses to go down that line. But even Aldor Peacekeeper alone on this Ethereal Conjurer will be enough. Another Murloc to the graveyard here, going to feel this anything can happen. Effigy, what are we going to see here? Again, not much of a threat. Pyro Consecration just seems pretty good here. Deals with the board, doesn't have to commit an equality. This is looking like Rame's game so far. I don't know what TwoBiers can really get to bring him back. The aggro is being stopped by the control. 2 control decks coming from Rame so far. TwoBiers running a mid-range hunter with this aggro mage or this tempo mage. That's not a draw you want to see. Gets the missiles. If they go right, this mana wound's going to be dealt with pretty easily. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing anything can happen at this point. You've got 2. Yeah, I wouldn't mind just slamming that. Just slam that anything down. And now the tempo mage has to deal with the board. And look at all that damage. So this is going to be light sight for TwoBiers in game at number 3. If we don't see a response, Arcane Intellect is not going to do it. And 2 fireballs to his own face is going to wrap up that game. So there we go. Rame takes it. TwoBiers, the current title holder for the 110 Arena Challenge. And it's going to be 2-1. So Rame is currently in the lead. I do believe this is best of 5 the whole way through. In the Southeast Asia Cup, we do best of 3 up until the round of 16. But on the Europe side of things, we are doing best of 5. So the last deck here for Rame, going to be taking that very comfortable mid-range Druid. And TwoBiers is going to be able to play that Tempo Mage once again. So This is a good matchup for TwoBiers. I mean, Tempo Mage is traditionally a deck that does well against a mid-range Druid. However, it is Druid. And Druid just does stuff and wins sometimes. Innovate is one of the major criminals of Druid doing stuff and winning. And Wild Growth, of course. So even though this is favoured in TwoBiers matchup, in the matchup, it can still go to the Druid. But not a bad start there. Gets that Mana Worm straight away. And if you can find some more minions to catch up with this Mana Worm and stay on board, could be an uphill battle for Rame going forward. What's he gonna get? Oh, wow. That's definitely something you want to see for later. Cenarius represents a lot of power on board, especially against a Druid. Druids don't have hard removal, as we all know. Relying on swipe, Force of Nature combos, Wraths. Nothing kind of like Twist and Never. So a 5/8 body is definitely something to fear. And if TwoBiers can keep stuff on board, this Cenarius will get tremendous value with its first selection with the buffs. So now Rame, I would like to see him drop either the swipe here or... Okay, so he's just going to go for the Druid Claw, I assume? Potentially just go for the Druid Claw here. I don't know, I think a swipe would have been fine. Or you go for the Keep of the Growth ping into hero power. I wouldn't want to leave a Mana Worm on board. If you have potential to get rid of it through silencing or through damage, just take that guy out, because this is the main force of the Tempo Mage deck at the moment for TwoBiers. Doesn't have a follow-up just yet. I would have liked to see charge. I definitely would have liked to see charge. So now a second Mana Worm's going to be able to come down, followed by a Flame Cannon, and maybe even Coin Arcane Missiles if he's feeling lucky. But then again, if you do go for the coin strategy, you don't have a follow-up next turn. So Mana Worm is replaced by Mana Worm's brother, Mana Worm. And now Rame needs to find an answer to this. Swipe is a great way to clear it up. Just one target, they're not going to get any extra value. Goes to the Keeper, I guess you could go for the Silence, but doesn't really represent much of a threat from the Druid so far. Very clunky hand, double Force of Nature so far. Hero Power Pass, wow. Very passive. Not sure if I like that. You don't want to give these mages an opportunity to get the tempo. Looks like he's just going to hero power and try and line up to keep a shot next turn. Don't mind that too much. At least he has an agenda going forward. But coin, Ethereal Conjurer is going to come down. And let's see what juicy treats this Conjurer has for us.
Want it? I got it.
Mirror Image seems like the best call there. Spellbender, maybe? Target hits, gets the Wrath, gets the Swipe. Kona Cold, actually they all have their potential merits. But I think I prefer the Mirror Image just because it puts bodies on the board and it interacts with the Flamewaker. So, you know, you get some extra pings there. And Mirror Image is just another nuisance spell that Druid needs to deal with. Because without a spell power buff, swipes don't deal with it efficiently. We see one swipe going down, going to clear up the board. But, you know, later on those Mirror Images definitely need a little bit extra to be dealt with. But, you know, Rame's staying in it. Arcane Intellect, maybe find him a minion. There's a Flamewaker. Gonna find a lot of use at that Mirror Image and the Arcane Missiles later. Let's see what this gets us. Ancient of Law, wow! Druid cards for days. TwoBiers is just stealing all the Druid's fun. Ancient, not even the Druids had an Ancient of Law yet. And TwoBiers has just snatched it from a portal. These are very powerful cards to find from Unstable Portal. I am going to miss that card when it gets rotated out, I'm not going to lie. It does create some exciting scenarios. But we do have some cool cards coming out of the old gods. That new mage spell that gives you 5 random spells. That has a lot of potential as a one-off later on. So Cenarius going to come down. Big boy Cenarius with his 2 homies. Tree 1 and Tree 2. Can't think of any imaginative names for his henchmen. But they're just trees, right? Cenarius is master of trees. I really like Golden Cenarius as well. It's one of my favourite golden cards. When that green kind of mist goes over and the rainbow comes in the background. He's having the time of his life in there. It's like a kid's TV show from the 90s. Rainbows, colours, lots of stuff going on. But Thorson's gonna come down, gonna get a wrath on one of his buddies. And Cenarius is gonna be free to trade up into this Thorson if he chooses, although Fireball is another option as well. So many different decisions here for TwoBiers. I maybe just like Dr. Boom, trade into the Thorson. You could Fireball, Flamewaker Fireball if you want to try and clear the board. Flamewaker, Mirror Image, Arcane Missiles, Frostbolt is another way you can go down that route. Ancient of Law, Frostbolt, Clear. There's just so many different lines to play, but I think Flamewaker has the most impact just because you have the most potential to clear up this board. So let's see where these pings go. 5 pings from the missiles. And that's it. He has done his job. And images are going to protect both the Flamewaker and the Cenarius. And this Druid knows that it is all over. Might see a Force of Nature with a swipe to try and sustain. But just drawing spells has not been a benefit for this Druid. He got his ramp, but he didn't get the minions he needed to get that mid-game going. So this is looking like it's going to be TwoBiers' game. We're going to get it tied up 2-2. And then we're going to have the final match to see who goes through in a single elimination bracket. So Force of Nature in combination with Living Roots and Swipe can deal with pretty much everything but the Cenarius. Unless he leaves the Flamewaker alive. So the decision is, does he have any spells left? Is it better to deal with the Cenarius? Or will, if he has too many spells left, I could be dead next turn. No Swipe going to be used. Well, TwoBiers does need a little bit extra to tie up this game, but Dr. Boom or Ancient of Law to find some extra damage will probably do it. Golden Ancient of Law. Druid not too happy. And TwoBiers just swarms the board here, knowing that he's not going to have the removal to deal with this. Last draw for Rame, and he goes down, and TwoBiers is going to tie this up 2-2. Well played from him there. Bad matchup, like I said, for that Druid. So we'll have to see what TwoBiers has left going into this final game. Been a good series so far. Kind of very back and forth, which is what I like. Both players kind of flexing their skills in Hearthstone. So final game, guys. Let's see who's going to be going through in the bracket and getting closer to those points. No Druid from TwoBiers today. Gotta respect that. And Cenarius is actually in Rame's deck. That's not something you see very often. It looks like Rame probably was even more frustrated seeing TwoBiers get a Cenarius before he gets it. But this is looking like handlock at the moment. It could be the demon variation that's had a bit of play over the last few months. We'll have to see as TwoBiers digs deeper into that deck. But looking at Rame's hand, he kind of has everything he needs. He has the Silence for the Twilight Drake, the Big Game Hunter for the First Giant. He has 2 silences actually, so that's a bit threatening at the moment. So Rame is actually lined up really nice to tackling some of TwoBiers' earlier stuff. Let's see if what other tricks this deck holds. This is looking more and more like handlock as we tap deeper. Coin Answer Drake, not going to come down. He could still think it's Zoolock. There is that potential. Going to use the first keeper to ping away this minion and get some activity going on board. TwoBiers drops the well played, saying you just wasted your keeper. Now Rame is going to drop the well played, I hope, and probably coin Hero Power Wrath. Oh, no BM from Rame. I'm disappointed. Goes to the Wrath, goes to the draw. Digs deeper into the deck. Greetings. Nothing to play on that turn. A little unfortunate. Peddler may find something to slow him down. Zombie Chow is pretty good, but Corruption might have a little bit of use later, but Zombie Chow is the best pick there. Just get some bodies on board. Try and get these 2/4s off. As a Drake, pretty standard play here. Dig into the deck, find what you need. But things are looking pretty good on Rame's side. He still has that big game hunter to follow up later. Thoroson's gonna hit a couple of decent cards. Gonna get some cheaper Moltons. Sludge Belcher's not a bad hit. Zero cost Mortal Coils might not find too much use in this matchup specifically. Is this just it? It looks like it. I was too busy looking at the Thoroson targets, but yeah, this just looks like lethal to me. And Druid wins this game, and TwoBiers, our 110 arena champion, is unfortunately knocked out by Rame. So congratulations to Rame there for taking the first match. But that was a pretty tense game overall. Very close. Could have went either way, but in traditional kind of Hearthstone fashion, especially 2016, Druid takes the win for that combo. So yeah, that is the first game of the day. We're going to go to a break and set up the next match and see where the brackets are. I will keep you updated on some good scores on the splash screen during the broadcast, so I will keep you guys informed on what's going on. So just go for a quick break and we'll be back with a game very soon, so don't go anywhere.